Good morning, YouTube. So, a funny thing, the other morning, I got up, and one of the times that I was able to catch up on some of my favorite forums and MotoVlogs and things like that, I came across this one motorcycle forum, and it was one of the guys that I regularly follow and correspond with through the forum. And I was kind of surprised to see the topic that he chose to rant on. So I thought I'd give it a little bit of thought myself and decide for myself if it's really as problematic as he was thinking it was. Because I'm thinking it's not. All clear. Another ride downtown this morning. So he gets on the blog, the forum, and he starts discussing what he terms hipsters. And one of the things that seems to be true about hipsters is that everybody seems to have their own idea about what a hipster is, right? Are they posers? Are they people pretending to be something that they're not? Are they, what are they exactly? And so no one can really peg it down, but then they start describing things that people do or the attire that they wear in order to determine who is a hipster and who is not. Which I found very interesting, because the same fella that was bringing this to the front was all about not judging people. Given that he's a guy with long hair and a lip tattoo and such, and tattoos and everything, and he's always talking about how people are judging him as for not being very smart. So it was interesting to me that this particular person would have so much to say on the topic regarding hipsters, because to him, the hipsters are the people who are taking old things. Currently, hipsters are the ones that are taking old things and trying to pretend like they were into them all along, specifically in reference to motorcycling. So you get these guys go and get retro bikes, and you know, they wear the thin little mustache, or they try to grow one that they can curl with wax. And you guys know who I'm talking about, I suppose. You've seen hipsters around everywhere. But the big part of his rant was he was complaining because these guys, many of them, you know, he had a particular issue with them being born with a silver spoon, which, again, I don't begrudge anybody their wealth, whether it was passed down to them or they flat out earned it. Somebody had to earn it. I certainly intend to pass down as much as I can to my kids to help their lives move along a little better. But I digress. So he goes on and continues to bag on these hipsters and how they're ruining motorcycling. And there's another fella here in the United States. His vlog name escapes me right now. I only follow, you know, some 200 or 300 vloggers. But he had a really good statement on this, and that was, you know, to shut the F up. Man, anybody going up on two wheels is a good thing. But this guy's really, really bagging on the idea that these guys would show up, they buy their new tools, they buy an old Honda or a Kawasaki and throw a different seat on it and throw a different muffler on it and then call it a cafe racer. And this really seemed to bother him quite a bit. Now, I don't understand that mentality, because for me, I think that anything that furthers the motorcycle scene along is a good thing, you know? That we do good to keep people interested in motorcycling. So in all seriousness, we're doing really good just to keep people interested in motorcycling in some way, right? I mean, as long as someone's buying motorcycles and buying tools and buying parts for a motorcycle, then those parts are going to stay relevant and on the market. That seems like it's a good thing for the motorcycling community, at least from my perspective. The other thing is, So what if today's youth is doing this retro thing? Who cares? It's always been done. God help us if disco gets brought back into being popular. But for the most part, I think it's a good thing. Number one, these guys are buying tools and working on their own bikes. Well, by golly, at least they're not sitting in front of the Xbox the whole time. You know? They're not wasting away in front of their computers, you know, making MotoVlogs and uploading them to people they don't know. But you get my point. You get my point. So that being said, the undertone of everything he had to say was just a lot of venom towards these hipster type people he feels are invading the motorcycle world. Even went so far as to say that when he goes to a local pub that might have a bunch of college hangout hipsters drinking PBR, that even though that's his favorite beer and always has been, and he doesn't consider himself a hipster, he won't order his own favorite beer just because he don't want to be improperly perceived as being a hipster. Can you believe that? So for me, one of the cool things about nearly everybody I've ever known that's owned a motorcycle is, quite honestly, they just don't give a damn what other people think. And to me, that's kind of a cool thing. That's part of that attitude. Here in America, it's definitely part of an American attitude. And I just don't get caring so much what someone else might think of you that you won't do one of your favorite things. That's pretty incredible to me. So, you know what? I guess the lesson from all of this: don't cling to your hate, folks. Don't cling to it. It doesn't help you. It doesn't make it any better. I mean, I'm one to talk. There's plenty of things I still hate on and that I really don't like. But man, when you publish it in such a public way, I don't know what kind of breaking point you have to get to where you're denying yourself your favorite things just to keep from being publicly perceived as being something you don't like. By God, if I like PBR, I don't care if every hipster in the world is drinking it. Guess who's drinking some PBR? I mean, I don't, but if I did, I would, regardless. And yeah, so my Enfield isn't a real classic 1955 Enfield. It's still fun to ride. It's a beautiful bike. It's a great conversation piece. I've gotten to meet lots of people as a result. And I'm going to ride it whether people think it's a poser bike or not, or a retro bike, or whether they think I'm some kind of hipster, until they see me take off my helmet and all the gray hair shows itself. I'm not sure if you can be an old hipster. That's one thing that hasn't ever been clarified. So anyhow, that was my whole little thing there. And really the thrust of it is, don't let silly, stupid stuff, whether it's in society, define your happiness. I'm going to have to start calling these sessions Streetlight Logic. So Streetlight Logic, episode 1. Don't let society or what's popular or popular culture decide for you what makes you happy. Don't do it. Because it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen unless you're a slave to what's ever popular out there. Don't be a slave to that. Be a slave to your own desires. Be a slave to the desires of the things that God or the universe or whatever you believe in wants for you. Be a slave to that. Decide what you want to do and go out and do it. And do it as good as you can. Who cares if some hipster's going to come along and pretend to be you for a while? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So that's actually all I had to say. Alright folks, another Enfield vlog in the can. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye. So if you guys thought I was joking about how hard the wind is blowing, take a look at that big old flag up there. Take a look at that one over there.